Okay. Questions for our guys?
Yeah. Please. I've got a question. Tell us a little bit about how you decided to do this film about this guy on this subject. It seems like such an unusual topic. How did you find it?
Well, why don't you?
Yeah, so I usually tell this brief origin story, which is just that my girlfriend and our producer Beth and I went to the Fresh Coast Film Festival in Marquette, and anyone who's been to Marquette, you've probably seen the Delft restaurant, the Delft Bistro. So I'm a cinema guy, I was curious, and I wanted to know a little bit about that theater, and lo and behold, Bernie's project popped up on Google, and I was looking at Book World for sale while I was reading the story of what he was up to. So I had reached out to him just to offer some help, and I thought it would make a great article, and I started talking to Jordan about it, sharing the story, and he rightly suggested that maybe it was more visual and we could maybe do a short documentary together, which we've never done anything creative like this together, but we wanted to, I think. And so if we had done the article or the short film, that would have been a lot easier. And instead, we spent the last 2 years, kind of trying to piece this all together. Most of the last year, we've been on tour. But we immediately, and I hope you agree, Bernie's just an inspiring guy, and he ended up being a reliable narrator, something that was a fantastic gift to two people that had never made a documentary before, or even a short documentary together. So we fell in love with what he was trying to do, because I think, like some of you here dealing with the State Theater, we were on the edge of our seats with many theaters in our lives watching this happen. So there was a connection for us.
So, follow-up question, please. Have you found other documentaries on theater restoration?
I mean, we know of a few, and we know there was Rusty's project last year.
Oh, yeah.
In the UP. For
the Vista. Yeah, there was another short documentary at Fresh Coast, actually, when we showed a work in progress of this, that was about the restoration of the Vista, which got a couple $1 million in MEDC and state funding. So, yeah, I guess we were a little bit, but the rule of thumb was that we were so completely mad trying to figure this one out. We didn't have much time to watch anything else.
Yeah, we watched Bernie for, about a year and a half straight, so.
I'm actually going to exercise discretion as a moderator, because I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
We're getting all kinds of documentaries submitted to Hell's Half Mile, so we screen a lot of them. This one stands out for a lot of reasons, not the least of which there's so many unusual elements in the construction of the documentary. There's music, there's art, there's comedic interludes. There's just so much going on that's not there in a standard documentary. And so this is your first documentary project together.
Yes.
Can you talk about the creative process, like what you guys were thinking? I think it's kind of interesting that people who hadn't done a documentary before did it like this, because so many documentarians don't.
Well, I'll say the reason was twofold. One, we did not have a lot of archival material and stuff like a traditional doc would have. So much of our story takes place far in the past, and then we had that tiny bit of footage that you saw in the film of a 12-year younger Bernie, and that was about it. So there was an academic reason to do it. A practical reason was we had no money. And we didn't know any better. And we didn't know any better. So we were going like, how in the world do we tell this story? And using the language of cinema to try to encapsulate these very specific eras seemed like the most efficient and cost-effective way for us to do it. Plus, it was just a lot more fun for us. We had fun doing it. So that was pretty much the reason why.
Sometimes things work out, yeah.
The only last thing I'll say is it all seemed to come together in the end, but if you asked anyone that we pulled into the project to play any of these number of characters, they never had scripts, they never understood what we were doing, and more than once I could look them right in the eye and see how afraid they were for us, being embarrassed by what we were up to, and being very worried that we were going to going to have a horrible time showing the movie.
You're not going to put my name on this movie. IMDb, no.
So it's a great relief to us that many of our people came on tour with us to see the movie, and I think we're surprised and delighted that they didn't embarrass themselves. So.
Right in the middle here, please.
Was Bernie disappointed that it didn't turn into a theater?
I'm disappointed it wasn't turned into a theater.
Well, Bernie is consummately, he is who you see in the film. We're not doing any magic. He is so grateful that what happened did, that he doesn't even really have time to dwell on that, because I think maybe if he was chugging along and then all of a sudden, but his dream was truly dead there after putting in so much work. And so for Ann Scott to come in and to create this beautiful collaboration, and for them to get the magic from Bernie that we felt and want to help that dream come true in a way. For Bernie, he's just like, this is better than I thought I would ever see. Like, to see him, he's like, a lot of things get torn down. Very rarely do you see things put back together, and for me, that's my favorite line of the entire movie, and it encapsulates the whole reason why I was so drawn to this story. You can go home again every once in a while.
And I know that disappointed that someone mentioned the feeling, that's obviously like a part of the tension of the story. We obviously felt it as well. Just real quickly, they are genuine friends. This was a story about a beautiful friendship too, in addition to what they accomplished. And the button to this, real quick, is that movies are going to be shown again in the Nordic. The Honorable Distillery this year is going to be a venue for the Fresh Coast Film Festival, and we think a lot of it was nudged in some way from the film and the conversation. It's not the same, but 90 years later, we were in that upstairs room making what we think was the first film ever made in the Nordic, and so this year to see there's going to be a screen. The ghosts of the past will come out, I think, for that one. So yeah, it's a good ending.
It is.
And we're at the filmmaker party. We'll meet you in the lobby if you have a question. We want to make sure that you guys get to where you need to be. So
okay, yeah. This is, as you said, this is maybe the button. Thank you all. Please enjoy the rest of Hell's Half Mile. And guys, if you have individual projects together, we always love people to come back. And I think Meg actually in the business and give you bigger discounts.
Oh, cool.
So please don't forget about us. We'd love to see you again.
Yeah, and we're all